correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned that you directed your own music videos, correct?
Yes.
So how did that come about, and like what was like that process like, curating like the best music videos and like visualizing the best aspect of your songs like in like visual wise and all that?
This is kind of a funny story. So when I was going by Yasmin Soul, apparently I was directing those videos too. I had no idea. I put my in my head, my director, Bando on everything. And he was like, when after Little Demon, he's like, that you directed this, right? And I had no idea, because in my mind, the director was holding the camera. The director was, and I do explain in depth, like sometimes what I want and angles, but the concepts are mine and I'm still editing with them. And he's like, you've actually directed this video. I don't think you realize. And I have to like props to him, because I think a lot of times women in the industry, we're quiet in the sense that we don't necessarily know the role that we've done. So I was like, maybe it's creative direction, maybe it's this. He's like, no, you've directed this video. And by the way, you directed the other 3 videos. And then I kind of clicked to me, and I was like, well, thank you for telling me that, because someone else may not have told me that and just taken the credit. And once I kind of put that director hat on, it definitely changed the way I was looking at everything I'm doing going forward. Again, being someone who loves acting, went to art school, I absolutely love directing and I love film. I get that from my mom. Like, I'll rewatch a movie for the scene or for the way a certain angle was shot. Like, I get that all from my mom. And I think it changed the way I looked at women in the industry being behind the camera and how it's not done nearly enough. And as you mentioned earlier, perspectives. Everyone has a different perspective. Women, men, people in general are going to have different perspectives. So I think it's important to like allow those, like all types of people to be doing different roles, because everyone's going to have a different eye on something. So once I started really realizing, hey, you are directing, then I just kind of took it full force and took it more seriously. And I think my most recent video for Go Slow was like the favorite one I've ever directed. But yeah, that's a huge, I just want to see more women behind the camera. I really do. So.
Yeah. I definitely agree too, and I think like even like for Toronto too, because when I look at like Toronto music videos too that are not like curated by like SoCan or Factor or for like other like formations, like the ball has been dropping like so low for like music videos nowadays in Toronto. Like, you get the typical Toronto music video where it's a condo and it's like people with their homeboys and all that with the mandem just like linking up and all that too, and then you get like a 1-2 like video model right there too, and that's just like for the Toronto male rappers like in some cases too, but like for other artists too, it's like you see a creative edge, and that's like maybe like one in like maybe 25 or 50 that are kind of doing it. Like I could give like maybe like an example too, like Toby, like his music videos are like mad lit and all that, and
Yep.
I think also who else?
He's dope. I love
Yeah.
Toby.
Yeah, I have to figure out more too. I think Hawaii Mighty as well too, and then like also like as you said, like Trey Mission and all that. Like a lot of them are gonna have like more like better and more creative music videos than the typical one right now. And like I want to ask more about your opinion on all that. Like, how do you feel about the aspect of Toronto music videos nowadays? Like whether it's like mainstream or like non-mainstream.
To be honest, I think like I totally understand what you are saying about the mandem and the condo and the typical thing, but I think that a lot of times it's just that there's not a plan. I think sometimes people just go into the video as like a cool concept, and I think, and that's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's room for that. There's a whole generation that's gonna love that, and I don't dislike it. I just think that for me, when I write a song and I record a song, I already see the video in my head. So for me, it's like now I have to do that. Which sounds great, but it's also kind of like annoying because like it's another thing that I'm like, okay, now I have to do this specifically. I don't think the Toronto music video scene is like lacking, to be honest. I think right now, everybody, podcasts, music videos, everybody's in this race for content. Yeah. So I think there's also a lot of pressure on artists to do so many things, which is really awesome, but maybe not every artist wants to come up with the concept, and maybe not every artist has the funds, because we mentioned Factor and these things, but not everybody's getting that, right? So maybe all they can do is go to their homeboy's like condo. But I think I've seen a big pullback on videos in general, because people are like, oh, they're not watching them on YouTube. Even with me, I'm told like just keep it strict to like your TikTok and your Instagram content.
Not true.
So I think that sometimes that's why we're seeing like a bit where people aren't really putting out music videos as often because there is no much music playing videos all day long and there isn't really a platform for them. But for me personally, I think music videos are so important because it's another form of content, yes, but I think it tells the story of who you are as an artist. So I definitely don't want to hate on anyone's like Condo Mandem video because I think depending on the song, hey, that's, you know what I mean? That's the vibe.
Yeah.
And a lot of those videos get crazy views and those songs get great streams. It's just, I think for me, it's like I like to plan kind of what it's going to be and curate it differently. And I think that just comes, every artist has their own vision, right? So if their vision is they want to have a lit like party and that's what the song is and that's what they want to show, you know what I mean? But I think there's a lot of good videos out there. I think we don't get to see them because the race for content is so crazy and there's just so much that we're only going to see, you know, what we see.
I think the last good music video that kind of had that same style, Griselda Blanco and all that too, like it was like a Toronto anthem still to this day and all that too. Same style, but it kind of had like a unique aspect to for a bit, and I think, you know, we could even like go through it like on another day and all that too. But like I think like that's like one thing that I'll plug in right now. But
yeah, one of my favorite videos of all time is A$AP Rocky's LSD.
oh, true.
Like that video, for anyone who hasn't seen that video, you have to watch it. It's so creatively done, and it's just such a cool concept. So that's like my all-time favorite music video.
True.